It is probably the single most important mathematical idea of all. The notion of proof by circle and line or ruler and compass construction means that geometry can be known about in a way that is different from knowing about physical things, and so makes geometry epistemically differentiated. Furthermore, starting from circles and lines alone and constructing a relationship using circles and lines alone makes the conclusions certain in a way that nothing else was at the time. In geometric reasoning, the argument and the conclusions were made supremely clear and evident to the senses. Indeed, the concept of proof, a mechanism that gave a warrant for claiming geometry to be perfectly and absolutely true, made geometry the very paradigm of what we mean true and certain knowledge to be. In effect, in our understanding of nature, true means true, like geometry is true.
Come go with me. Open your mind. Was all I ever knew. Finding the knowledge of the real world starts with the point of which has no parts. These are the axioms of life.
True.
And I take my chances with the old ways, finding the proofs in geometry.
Perfect.
And I don't care what all the sophists say. I find the proofs in reality. They were right.
We call this
We know that they were right.
true. We call this proof, like geometry is true.
Starting with circles and lines alone, constructing the nature of what's known.
We call this proof.
Conclusions are clear and the evidence seen. This 3D space works perfectly. And I'll take my chances with the old ways, finding the proofs in geometry. And I don't care what all the sophists say. I'll find the proofs in reality.
Like geometry is true. Perfect. Absolutely.
And all around you is sinking sand. You have a place on which to stand. Foundations were already built for you.
Absolutely true.
Open your mind. And I'll take my chances with the older ways, hearing the words of what the ancients said. They say my words sound like sorcery, but there's wisdom in all honesty.
True.
Come go with me. Open your mind. Come go with me. We'll find the truth.
Absolutely true.
And we are live. Welcome everyone. It is Trivium Day, Wednesday, Hump Day. But again, we're going to be going over the introduction to Western philosophy in half an hour or so. So if you want to get into the Discord, that's where we'll be going over that. I do record them and I will be putting them out. I'm thinking what I'm going to do is I'm going to put them out for a premiere so everyone can go along with them. But then after that, they will be made as a members only video. So you'll have to, if you want to go over them as a series or whatever, again, you'll have to become a member. Just to keep it out of the way of everyone. You know, the idea is to come in and get involved with it. But we want really, I prefer doing stuff in the Discord, because I think everybody gets a I don't know, it's slightly different. This one's being recorded, but there is other stuff that I want to go over with people that I probably won't be able to put out as a recording, because of some of the material we'll be going over. They'll get a copyright strike for it. So when we go over stuff, it will be within the Discord coming soon. So that's where we're going to be basing most of this stuff around, call it private sessions. But we've been learning quite a fair bit as we've been in here in this arena, let's say. But I've been on a journey to find, I don't know, find a purpose or whatever, however I came in. So I came into this arena, and all I've noticed is that there's people getting labelled with all sorts of things. It's time for us to, I don't know, let people know what we've been doing, and like make it a bit more serious now. The learning's over. It's 2023. Time for us to start doing the stuff that we wanted to be doing. Let me check what's going on in the agents. Hopefully we might have some stuff to go over. Right, that one. Okie dokie. Seeing as we're going to be going live, we've just got half an hour or so. We've got some stuff in the agents. This is. Can we do that? Turn that down a bit. Can you guys hear that? I'm on the. I'll tell you what. I'll set it up on the video. And then I'll get it for you guys in Discord. Thank you very much, Mike. We shall be going over that shortly. Get you guys.
KC,
Yep.
lies, flat earthers, tell. Yes, this one.
That one. I've got it for you guys on my screen, so you guys can listen to it and go over it. I've never heard this at all, so we're going to go over a thing from the Canadian teacher who's made a video. Let me get this. Okay, so this is a video called Lies Flat Earthers Tell. Atmosphere magnifies things. 5 years ago. This is Casey, the Canadian teacher. Okay, so this is one of the atmosphere magnifies things. Let's go over this.
Okay, notice how large the dinky toy looks compared to the climber in the background. Now, the distance between me and the dinky toy is very small. I would say I'm about maybe a foot, 30 centimeters away from the dinky toy. I'm much farther away from the climber, so it looks smaller in the background because my distance to it is a lot larger. Now what I'm going to do is increase my distance to the dinky toy. I'm going to about double it. I'm going to try and get to approximately 60 centimeters. I don't have anything to measure with, so this is just a guess. But when I double my distance, the dinky toy should look about half the size in my field of view. That's just the way trigonometry works. So I'm going to about double my distance, which I think is about here. Now when I doubled my distance to the dinky toy, I only moved a tiny little bit away from the climber. I certainly didn't double the distance to the climber. So the climber, while it looks a little bit smaller, is really negligible. You probably wouldn't be able to tell it was much smaller if I actually took still shots and lined it up. It'll be a tiny bit smaller because I did move away from it, but I doubled the distance from the dinky toy and only increased the distance to the climber just a tiny bit. So when I zoom in now on the dinky toy, it's going to get larger because basically all I'm going to do is increase the size of this scene that we see here right now. Nothing is going to really change as far as their size compared to each other. I'm just going to zoom in so that all we see now is the dinky toy about the same size as it was in the first place. Now notice we see a whole lot less of the climber when I increase that zoom to the dinky toy. Now I'm going to try doing this one more time. I'm going to try to double my distance to the dinky toy again. It's going to get a little bit harder to estimate, but let's see. So now this time when I double my distance to the dinky toy, the distance I am away from the climber is not going to be quite as negligible. So it will decrease in size a little bit more than it did before, although you're not going to notice it near as much as you notice the dinky toy. So let's double the distance the best I can. I'm going to say right about there.
Boot.
And so I about doubled my distance again, which means since now I've doubled it twice, I'm 4 times as far away from the dinky toy as I was in the first place. And I'm not yet double the distance I was to the climber. So I'm going to once again zoom in on the dinky toy. Now, since the climber didn't decrease in size near as much as the dinky toy, when I zoom in it's going to look considerably larger. And so when I zoom in, and you can see the dinky toy, it's not focusing on the dinky toy, but I think that's about what it looked in my field of view when I started. And when I started, you could see pretty much the whole climber behind it. Now you can see only the rock wall portion of it. Now, basically what's happening is the farther I get away, the closer that dinky toy is becoming to actually looking the size it would be, its real ratio of size to the climber. In fact, if I double my distance again, it's going to look much, much closer to the correct size that it should look beside the climber if I went over and actually set the dinky toy beside the climber or beside one of those rock wall pieces. And if I did that, I think the rock wall pieces would be, I'm going to say, just a little bit bigger than the dinky toy itself. Okay, so I'm going to increase the distance again.
Has anybody noticed? What's this? This is titled Lies Flat Earthers Tell.
And it has nothing to do with atmosphere.
No?
Nothing. She's playing with one focal point or focal distance and changing field of view by zooming. I would say that she is using both optical zoom and this what it is called digital zoom. And in title we have this magnifying. She's not magnifying anything. Of course, if she is using zoom, she is magnifying everything. and of course she's narrowing field of view. But still, I don't know where she's going with that.
There's a minute and a half left, right? Hopefully, she's going to wrap it up, but I don't
Doesn't
know
make
what
any
she's
sense.
doing at the minute. She's just sort of moving away and zooming back in again.
I'm going to try and double the distance. I'm going to get considerably farther away. Now, when I double it again, that means I'm now about 8 times further away. Oh, can't see it. There we go. I'm about 8 times further away than I was when we started from the dinky toy. And I think I'm now getting pretty close to double the distance of the climber. So if I zoomed right back out, the climber should probably look about half the size now as it did when I started this video. And again, this is just sort of ballpark half size and stuff because I have not measured exact distances. I'm just going on estimates here. Now I'm going to zoom in on the truck, the dinky toy, to try and make it look about the same size in my field of view as when we started. It's still blurry as it's focusing on the climber, not the toy truck.
Yeah, and that's the trick.
You can see the climber looks considerably larger behind it.
Yeah, I don't know why I can't do any focus. Use manual focus.
Yes, so if this camera was first focused on this toy car, and now it is focused on this what it is called this toy construction or whatever. So you cannot estimate how angular size would change with that. You cannot estimate anything with that. And by the way, when she was zooming out, she was using digital zoom. You can see how blurry screen was when she was zooming out, because she was changing, or a camera was changing resolution.
Yeah, I'll get a screenshot of the beginning one and the end one. We'll see what they look like, at the end.
Okay.
See where 30 seconds now, hopefully. Wrap it up, Casey.
Certainly larger than it did when we first started this little experiment. And it is not the atmosphere that is magnifying the climber. Not even close. It has everything to do with geometry, everything to do with field of view, everything to do with, dare I say it, perspective.
Yes, I agree. Yes, of course. So what?
So let's...
Perspective.
Okay, so let's get a screenshot of that. Good. No.
Yes, this is how difference between focal points works. Because at the beginning, camera is focused on this car, and background is blurry. Is also is also sharp. So it means that our camera used a long focal point. Because if we can see nearby object which is sharp and background is sharp, it means that camera is using a long focal point. And when at the end we have blurry car and sharp, let's say, background, it means that the focal point is shorter, much shorter, and it cannot encompass both objects in sharp vision because this rays or incoming rays are more, let's say, parallel to each other. So you can equalize both objects in sharp vision. But if one is blurry, very blurry, and the background is sharp, it means that this is a short focal point. It means that these incoming rays are not let's say they are at larger angle. I'm not sure if it is clear what I'm saying, but still, if we can see nearby object and distant object sharp, it means that this is long focal point. And if we can see one object, it doesn't matter which, close or distant, blurry, and the other is sharp, it means that focal point is short or much shorter. That's how cameras works. And this optical zooming. I'm not talking about digital zooming, optical zooming.
Can you see? I don't know what it looks like here. I'll show it on the Discord. You should be able to see what Mike's saying here. That every time she moves further away, it drops. So here's the first shot. Was that the first one? Yeah.
It's on Agents Live or live chat?
In the live chat, 2020 on mine, 20 past. The one, right? So you can see the wall at the back, but you can't see any blue bit there. There's no blue part. Let me go back on Discord.
Yeah, I can see this line with this line blue. Yes, yes. So this is how this drop from horizontal, let's say, works in optics.
And here's
this
another
is illusion.
One, the next one. You can see the blue part as she moved away, and then as you come back even further, you can see the board underneath the blue part. So as she moves further away, you can see more. It's almost as though it drops in the distance somehow.
So this is similar to this this photo where you are going down to along the beach to the sea, and the sea horizon is much higher than you. So this is this effect. That would be that. Very similar. It's just optical. So she is right that this is optical and perspective, because perspective is optical. Has nothing to do with atmosphere conditions, let's say.
Every time she moves away, it drops down further.
Yeah, but who's to say she's walking on a level ground? I mean, who's to say the camera is level?
She's a mathematician. Yes. She says that's all it's to do with is geometry.
What,
obviously
walking backwards?
Yeah, doubling the size
Holding
to alter the thing. drop in the distance.
Oh, yeah.
That's what
And
she's
by the-
doing. It's not.
By the way,
Flirfs don't lie, right? Stop Flirfs from lying.
she said that she didn't measure that, so she's not sure if this camera is really at the same height as original.
Yeah. All distance.
So and if, for example, if you have short focal point, very small difference in height would make a very large distance, a very large difference between this car and this background. Because with a long focal point, you are not able to change this ratio between background and closer object. But with with a short focal point, any tiny movement up or down will change everything in field of view. So while she said that she is not sure because she didn't measure, this is for nothing what she did, if she was trying to prove anything.
I think, if anything, you could say she's sort of proving an optical drop.
Yes, perspective. Yes, it is how perspective works. Yes.
Yeah. It's called the lies
Yeah,
flat earthers tell. I'm not too sure what lies were being told or what lies she told, or I don't know.
It's a good demonstration of what she's actually demonstrated.
Yeah,
Yes,
5 years
Could
ago.
be better. Could be better, but I mean,
She could have focused it in on the truck a bit more, and it would have. But I mean, obviously, anybody can do this sort of test if you want. You could even try and make sure you're on level ground and make sure your tripod's at the same height and all of that sort of stuff to make sure that it is like an optical drop in the distance and not just sort of a camera issue of positioning.
You know, at the first, let's say, picture, she showed that this car is large and the background is small. But at the last, this car is smaller. Why? Because she changed ratio. Because it is not only one factor, her distance to the car and her distance to the background, to this construction, but what matters also is distance between this car and background. So if she is moving back, she's changing ratio also between this car and background. It changes.
Yeah.
So yes, so it is getting smaller, but at different ratio than this background. Background is not shrinking at the same rate as a car. Car is shrinking faster, let's say.
It's exactly what happens on the real globe, right? In reality, that's exactly how it happens, how it occurs. So thank you, Casey, for helping. I'm not too sure how Chaiki might take that news, but 5 years
by the
ago,
way, she debunked this Blackpool Tower Chaiki's proof. Completely debunked. Her demonstration debunks this Blackpool Tower, let's say, argument.
It does seem to, doesn't it? I mean, it wasn't even an argument to start off with before.
Yes,
I mean, he's led a lot of people into this, so I wonder whether he's aware. Anybody, just tell the Blue Marble scientists if you ever see them. They could do with... No, Casey doesn't know who Blue Marble Science is because she didn't even believe. She thought it was a little bit weird about him having spherical pie. So she obviously doesn't know who he is. She should get in touch with him, though, I think.
Yes, or rather Blue Marble or Chaiki should contact with her and
get her to confirm
this demonstration. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, maybe next time they could just do it on a nice level platform, and you know, a few more controls in place.
Well, see, that was good. That's filled half an hour up. Thank you very much. Casey can probably catch up with this because I think she does. She does have that one's called, the account that Casey's talking on Twitter is called Casey2, because I've blocked Casey1, the one that had this account, because she was one of the horrible trolls that hang around with obviously the guy that may or may not be from Maine, and Jesse Kozlowski, Slice Barcane, his brother. All of them people. She had a close affiliation with Slice Barcane. 5 years ago, making videos as a teacher. The lies flat earthers tell.
What about the spaghetti in that though, Bev? You know, you got spaghetti, you got phones.
Yeah.
You got fire engines, you know,
toy cars.
Fire engines,
toy cars.
Climbing frame.
I think the climbing frame was just there in the background so you could see how much the optical drop was.
Don't forget the toothpicks and the toothpick and the
toothpick tangents.
and the plastic square.
Toothpick.
Don't forget that.
The 3, 4, or 5-sided square. Spherical pie. We've got all of the mathematics.
Not forgetting good old Rumpus with his bendy 6-meter bit of pipe.
Yes.
The Dark Shark. I wonder how they could have done that with the Dark Shark. I wonder what it'd look like. Do you reckon that could be actual drop, or it'd just be optical? Who knows? Perhaps lenses are a bit weird. Perhaps somebody needs to look into this sort of stuff. Although Casey's done it 5 years ago.
The steeper the drop is as well, isn't it? The further you go, the more of the drop off. The further you go, the more downhill you go.
Yeah. Yeah, not a lot of people do know who Blue Marble Science is in that community. Strange, isn't it? There was a load of guys as well that didn't know who Rumpus was. Never heard of him.
Especially, what about with a name like Blue Marble, though? You know, you think everyone would know him.
They would have at least know about
name.
Blue Marble Science, the field of academics that most of them have been through it.
Of the
university.
Science of the not that.
Yeah, yeah.
And in these pictures, also important factor is, which is not evident here, because when she focused on the car and focused on the background, it may happen that that she changed her. I'm going to say eye level, but change position, change angle to that car. Because if she is going away and trying to keep, let's say, this car in the center, it means that she is changing angle of optical axis in comparison to horizontal. So she is not probably moving with optical axis being on horizontal, like, for example, in auto level. So she is changing this angle, which is important factor here also, because all things are going up to horizon if they are on the ground and they are in the frame below horizon, they should go up. So we don't know that because it is not evident in this film.
Well,
but this is also important factor.
The first one, you can see like nearly all of the table, right? So she must be above, or the center of the field of the view of the camera must be above the table because the camera's above the table. But then when you get to that last one, it looks like it's gone down. It's nearly level on the table. Like there's not much at the top of the table that you can see once she gets further away. There's a possibility that she's actually dropped a bit.
Yes, I would say that because it doesn't match very well. Angular change, this is one thing, but why this is down in the frame, this is another thing. So there are many things we don't know, and probably she doesn't know what she's doing.
It was done 5 years ago. She wouldn't have known what she was doing 5 years ago. See, how would she know that Chaiki was going to go and take a screenshot of a video and put so much weight in it? She wasn't to know that. It's not her fault.
Back garden science. That's where it's at. Amazing what you can do in your back garden.
Yeah.
If you're lucky enough.
That's very good. Yes, thank you very much, Mike. Mike went researching. Saw that little beauty. I don't know how many videos she's got. She might have quite a few. Do what else she's done.
Oh, look.
Yeah, all of those are back ones. Oh, yeah. Let's have a look.
Go on, yeah. Might be a part 2. Where she, leveled everything up.
Wow. Lies Flat Earthers Tell. Finished about a year ago. Oh, there's loads of them.
What's the titles?
Level and horizontal are the same. Whoa. Hey, we might have to go over that tomorrow. KC, it's only a 2-minute video. We see too much. I've always said that's great.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, the horizon should curve on a ball. The horizon rises to eye level. She's done loads of them. There's loads of lies that flat earthers tell. That was one of the earlier ones. I wonder how far. I want to see how far back we can go. Constructing a 3-4-5 triangle in Photoshop. Calculating the Earth's 3 curvatures. The Earth's 3 curvatures. Calculating it, yeah. Oh, we can go over that tomorrow. That's gonna be great.
Hump
leave
day.
that channel open.
She's talking about bulge. It means hump.
So much drop, yes, indeed, Mike. Okay, now we're gonna close this off now. And gonna go in. No, I'm not. I can't, Mike. We're gonna do the philosophy course Tuesdays and Wednesdays. It's so good. If you didn't come in last night, you will get to hear it tomorrow. Daytime, maybe morning time for you guys or whatever. So yeah, it is good. This we're going over logic and reasoning tonight. Like lecture 5 or 6. So click on the link to Discord. Come and join us. I'm just going to close this off now. It's been good. Thank you very much. Come and join us in the Discord. Get in here. Come and do some philosophy with us. Come and philosophize.